got the entire book online.
And one of the things that if you're interested, I'll say it later. You go ahead, Stu.
Where does it start? Page 6?
No, that's the end.
Okay. Something like... Oh, okay. Why don't you read your translation?
Well, I'm not going to read the entire thing, but that was what I was going to say, is that I did do a... that's a great page. Stop there, Stu. I did do a translation for you of the entire first 6 pages of the book, which are not halachic. The first page is a publisher's preface, in which we learn that Eliyahu Landau, the grandson of the Gra, is also a relative of Abraham Wolfinson. So then I did the translation of Uncle Strelick's.
Bubby just said my salary went up.
Right. Bubby, you have no idea.
You have no idea, Bubby.
My father's
gonna have to pay me now.
Then I did a translation of the foreword by Uncle Strelick. The first line of which Stu is showing you in the bold face up at the top.
Yeah.
The generations of Rabbi Abraham Harav HaGaon Hadayan, the great genius rabbi, rabbinical judge, Wolfinson, Mechaber Machazeh Abraham, the author of the Machazeh Abraham, this book that you're reading, Hadayan Harishon. So it repeats what it said in the front. The first rabbinical judge of the community of Prushim Ashkenazim in the land of Israel. And in brief, Stu will go into some of the really cool stories and details.
You're breaking up.
You're breaking up, Alan. Hang on, slow down.
Okay, I'll speak a little slower.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Okay. Stu will talk a little bit more about the details and some of the really great stories that come out of this introduction. But in brief, we learn that Dr. Israel Ben Zev was the 5th great-grandson of Abraham Wolfinson.
5th great-grandson
of Abraham Wolfinson? So you found out my Zadie was the 5th my grandfather was the 5th great-grandson of this man, Abraham Wolfinson.
Yes, exactly.
So you are his 6th
great-grandchild.
Guess what? How many times has your mother said we're 6
generations?
No. Hey, you're off a little bit. I'm sorry to tell you. You're off just a little bit. He's the 5th great-grandson. So what that means is Bubby's generation is the 6th generation, 6th great-grandchildren.
Right.
Okay?
That's what
Which means there are 7 generations in Israel. But I won't give too much away, Stu, because I want you to be able to tell this story too.
Okay.
But they didn't start out in Jerusalem. So Bubby, you are 100% correct that your generation was the 6th generation Jerusalemite.
What did that make you kids?
Well, we're not Jerusalemites.
We're not
Jerusalem.
You'll find don't.
You're not Jerusalemite.
You guys.
Arthur is 6th generation.
Arthur and Yudi were.
You guys have a lot of questions. We have answers to most of them, and there'll be an opportunity to ask more questions at the end, and that's your job.
Okay, so Stu, go for it.
Okay, so.
Oh, Stu, stop sharing the screen though, so we can see you.
Well, I'm gonna show documents.
Okay, then fine.
Okay, sorry. So this is kind of a problem because you guys are. Okay, so what I did with the document that Alan sent me was I took Abraham Wolfinson's name and I did a search for him, just a general Google search in Hebrew to see what came up. And 2 cool things came up. The first cool thing is he has a Wikipedia page. A Wikipedia page. This is Abraham Wolfinson's Wikipedia page.
Computer page.
So it means somebody wrote an article about
Somebody wrote an article about him. We're not the only people in the world who care about Abraham Wolfinson. Okay? That felt cool, right?
In Hebrew.
Then,
So, right.
I found another cool thing. And that is this. Which is in Hebrew, and it's not going to mean anything to you until I explain it. So,
What is it, a book?
no. Well, yes, there are books.
What's that picture?
It's a cover of a book. I'm not exactly sure what it is yet, but anyway, this website is a blog. You ready for this? About the Wolfinson family.
In Hebrew?
In
In
Hebrew. Somebody decided to write a blog about the founders of the state of Israel.
Well, obviously, right.
So a blog, right? A blog is it's a website that has a lot of information.
daily diary about some subject that somebody's interested
I think this could be wrong, Alan, but I'm not sure if you've taken any time to look into this, but I think that the guy who wrote this is doing a project, or was doing a project for...
I'm not sure.
I mean, I don't know. This is...
So what's the earliest date of entry? What's the latest date of entry?
I'm not sure, but... I'm not sure.
It's not so relevant.
It's not that relevant. So, a lot of the information that we got was from the Wikipedia article, and I actually found the blog and the Wikipedia article before Alan did. So I was doing a lot of the Hebrew translation by myself while he was translating the book, right? And so this was all me translating this. And it was a little bit more difficult. So, so there are a few cool things, and I took notes. Number one, we learned that this man is named Abraham Wolfinson, and he was born in 1783. And
Where?
in a town called Shklov.
Shklov. Right.
Shklov.
So,
No, Shklov.
so
So he's
Stu,
called, his full name, as he's referred to in the book and in other places, is Abraham Hadayan Ben Zev Wolfinson Mishklov. Am I right?
yes,
Just rolls
Mishklov.
off the tongue.
Shklov.
of Shklov. Those names of a place, like somebody of a place, show up over and over again in Jewish names up to a point before we actually have real last names. And one of the points I want to make about Abraham Wolfinson's name is that Abraham Wolfinson literally means Abraham, son of wolf. His father was
And Zeb is what kind of wolf?
right. So
Where,
Dr.
where is Shlov? What town is it from?
So
Okay,
Shklov,
so Stu, actually, Stu,
which-
if you don't mind, I have a map.
I know, Bubby's asking a question about Shklov, but I know, yeah. So let Alan finish. And then.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. I took the liberty of. Okay, well, actually, here is it. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Hold on a second. I gotta share my screen.
Stuart, you have to let go of the screen?
No. It
Okay.
does it
Can you see my screen yet?
Now we can.
Okay. So this is my translation, which you're welcome to see. But I took the liberty of making a map of the 15-month journey it took them to get from Shklov to
15
Jerusalem.
months took him to get from
Hang on 1 second, Alan,
Shklov.
Yeah.
because we haven't gotten there yet.
What do you mean?
Going to Israel.
Oh, so you want me to wait? Okay, I'll hold off.
Okay, so let's go through the Wikipedia article for a second. It's in Hebrew. So the first thing that I learned was somebody spent time to learn about Abraham Wolfinson and write an article about him in Hebrew. The other cool thing about Wikipedia is that I found out that somebody also did it in English. So this is
Yeah.
everything in almost everything that the Hebrew article says in English. So I'll read it out loud. So Rabbi Wolfinson was born in Shklov, which is about 300 kilometers, to answer your question,
Stu,
Bobby.
can you share your screen or put it on
Oh,
video?
sorry, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Or put on your video. We don't need to see the page.
Yeah, or
Right.
it's going to go on the video.
Okay. About 300 kilometers
No, good. That's fine.
southeast of Vilnius in Lithuania. Vilna.
Vilnius. That's Vilna in Yiddish.
Vilna. Vilnius is Vilna.
Okay.
I wonder if I'm related
Like
to
Zadie.
Bubby said, "What if I'm related to your father?"
Well, we knew this in the beginning because he's related to the Vilna Gaon.
Wait, what?
Well,
Who's related to Vilna Gaon?
Bubby said Zadius.
No.
No.
No, we were.
Oh, the Wolfenson
family
is.
related
Yeah.
to the
Oh, okay.
Vilna. So we knew
So-
that he was Vilna. Somebody had to be from Vilna.
So it is. 2
We're,
plus 2 equals 4 in this case.
let me just say this. Here's what I'm going to say. We are not related to the Vilna Gaon yet.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. I can wait.
Okay, that was a good way to put it.
1780.
He was born there. Okay, go on.
So, he lived in Shklov, where he became a disciple of the Vilna Gaon. So he was a student of the Vilna Gaon. And here's the important part. The Gaon believed that the return of the Jews from the diaspora to the land of Israel would bring about the Messianic era, influenced by the Gaon's vision. Influenced by the Gaon's vision. Wolfinson founded an organization called Chazon Zion, which means the prophecy or the vision of Zion, whose main principles included the ingathering of the Jewish exile. So, so basically, Rabbi Wolfinson learned from the Vilna Gaon that in order for the Mashiach to come, everybody has to go to Israel. And so he started the organization called Chazon Zion to bring everybody to Israel. And in 1809, he was one of the first groups of Ashkenazi Jews to go to Israel. At the time, Israel was made entirely of, well, it was Palestine, and it was Sephardic Jews.
And there were a few scattered Hasidic Ashkenazim, but this is an interesting point that they're not Hasidim. It's an important point. Stu, do you mind if I?
So these are Ashkenazis, but they're not Hasidim, and that's what's special about Abraham Wolfinson.
Can I
Keep in mind that. Yeah, sorry.
Can I take over just for a second?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting point. In Vilna and around Vilna at this time, there was a tremendous amount of strife. I mean, conflict, really wars, religious wars going on between the Hasidim and the Ashkenazi Jews who are not Hasidim. Who, if you're a Hasid, you call them misnagdim, which is like a derogatory word for them. Misnagdim, right?
How do you?
So
But-
misnagdim comes from the word neged, which means against. So I mean, by definition, it's
Not a nice.
not Hasidim.
Right. But they call themselves Prushim, which means in Hebrew, like from Perush, which means to interpret. And they interpret the law. Or in Greek, it means Pharisees, which you might have heard before. That's how they referred to themselves.
Okay.
But it was a very, very, very much a conflict between the Hasidim and the Prushim. And Abraham Wolfinson has a big part in that conflict later that we'll talk about once he gets to Israel.